Halloween.
Forever.
You guys know when about getting a suntan became popular? You ever read about that? When suntans became popular?
No, Brian.
No.
When did
No.
suntans become popular?
Yeah, well, experts say it was sometime during the Bronze Age.
Ugh.
Welcome, boys and girls, to a very fucking special little minisode of Halloween's Forever. I'm Brian.
I'm Steve.
Hey, who that boy is lurking around over there? Who's that? Who am I seeing?
Go, guys.
Is that our old friend Brandon back again? Oh, welcome, Brandon. Thanks for joining us again.
Seems like I was just here.
I know. Well, listen, that's what happens when to the victor go the spoils. You come to rub it in our face, guys. Before you get on me too hard about that joke, there was a reason why I picked that one. Guys, that's a Cliff Clavin joke from Cheers, and we are talking. A little hint, biggest hint. Read the fucking episode you clicked on in the podcast app. But if you didn't, and this just automatically came up for you, that's a little hint as to what movie we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about, from the year of our Lord, 1987, House 2, The Second Story, the most unnecessary subtitle of all time.
I say it's the most
All
necessary.
sequels are a second story, kind
You
of.
don't like the wordplay?
I guess. Anyway, this is a, quote unquote, I'll say punishment episode from Brandon. For those of you who are just catching up, me and Steve been getting our shit kicked lately. We just been getting just waffle stomped on the regular over here. 2 months in a row, both November and December. We lost showdowns to the guests. Brandon was kind enough to come back on and talk about the movie that he handed down to us as punishment. So we spread it out a little bit, but this was Brandon's choice. I don't know if I should call it a punishment movie. I enjoy this movie. Brandon, what made you pick this one?
So I picked this as a quote punishment movie because it is one of the most wackadoodle movies I've ever seen in my life.
It's a wacky one.
The
It's a
plot
crack
is
up.
pure chaos. If you try to make sense of it, if you want character development and plot and story, and it is going to be torture for you. But if you just roll with it, man, it's fucking wacky. It's a funhouse ride.
It's a whole mix 'em up. It's a whole wacky mix 'em up. And we'll get into it. I enjoyed it a lot. Steve, I assume you've seen this one before.
Yeah, I have not made it to House 3 or House 4 yet, but
I have not either.
Me either.
I was very aware of how silly this one is, and it's just like like Brandon was saying, it's just a silly, wacky movie. It's not necessarily a punishment, but like, when else would we do this movie on the show?
True.
It's
not.
It's not so good it would win any of our showdowns, but it's also older, so it's not relevant to bring up. And so you just kind of have to take it as a punishment, but it's not a true punishment because it's like, hey, it's silly times, everybody. We're gonna watch a fucking live action Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah, it is. It is Looney Tunes. I think I put the phrase Looney Tunes in my notes several times. Yeah, this is like taking your medicine, but your medicine is that yummy grape Dimetapp. So you kind of like it.
Ooh, or that bubblegum amoxicillin.
No, don't say that. That's disgusting. You're the only trash bird who liked that. The rest of us only like Dimetapp. Bubblegum. Actually, I don't hate bubblegum anything. That was chalky. The chalkiness of that was a problem for me.
Yeah,
I guess you guys just got the bad ones.
And I knew there were little bugs growing in it, even when I was a little kid. I knew what antibiotics were.
But then you grew up to be a person who brews little bugs, you ass.
Yeah. But those are I don't know. Those don't make things chalky. Those aren't bubblegum flavored. You like bubblegum flavored beer too. Let's see, there's a through line here. Anyway, guys, let's get a couple of things out of the way before we get into this sons of bitchin' episode. First of all, if you're a fan of the show, You should be following us on the social media. It's at Halloween's Forever on all the various social media outlets. Also, if you're a fan of the show, you should probably be following Brandon as well. Brandon, you're a paperback writer over on the old Instagram, right?
Yeah, and I still have my my I guess X account. It's still there, and it's at Brand_Getz over on that business.
Over on the business, it's still happening. Check them out over there. And if you haven't done it already, this will be the goddamn about fourth time I told you, and this is the last time I told you. Otherwise, you're getting the back of my hand. All right, go buy Brandon's book. Go check out the one I just read not too terribly long ago. Actually, it was when it came out, so it was a year ago, 2 years ago now. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Was that last year or 2 years ago that came out?
It was 2022. So yeah.
So technically last year, coming up on 2 years. Yeah, all right. So my brain's not as broke as I feared it was. But you should go out and check out that book. Also, another book of yours I've read that I really enjoyed, Lars Breakspace, Werewolf in Space. Super fun book. Brandon, as always, we've said 1,000 times, go buy his book. He's fantastic, fun author and horror nerd. So we appreciate you coming on and chatting up with us again and bestowing upon us this bonkers ass movie. One thing I got to remember to say as well, if yins haven't been hanging around and hearing what's been going on over here on the podcast, you should know we got a Patreon. It's patreon.com/Halloween's Forever, as you might expect. You go over there, got a couple of different tiers you could subscribe at. First tier, fuck that tier. Don't worry about that tier. Don't worry about that little guy. Go over to the $5 tier. That's where you get the real good business. That's where you get access to the Discord, so you can sit in here and listen to us record. You can ask us questions. You can interact with us and stuff like that while we're recording. Get episodes early. You get a bunch of little extra goodies that Steve will post over there from time to time, and you get our exclusive Patreon only podcast. And that sumbitch is called Family is Forever. And Steve makes me watch all the fucking Fast and the Furious movies. And we're pretty far along here. We got to get going because we're going to record the seventh one, right? Coming up here pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
Not looking forward to that, but I have been promised that it's the last one in which for the filming of Paul Walker was alive. So I am kind of happy about that. We're getting to that point in the franchise here. Anyway, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. The movies are fucking awful, but talking about them is a lot of fun.
It makes me laugh, and it makes Brian insane. But Brian also laughs sometimes too.
I laugh at the recordings. I don't laugh while I'm watching the movies. I genuinely hate them, and I'm counting the minutes until they're over. Okay. Now we got all that stuff out of the way. Let's talk about some beers we might be drinking here. Steve, what are you sipping on over there? Anything fun?
Yeah, I got something. It's a fucking hodgepodge mishmash of words that you're not going to be super happy about.
Can I guess? Can I get 3 guesses and see if I can get one of them?
Yeah, go ahead. Take a guess to see if you can grab one of the hodgepodge words in this fucking description.
First of all, I'm gonna go with a safe one right off the bat. Sour.
Wrong.
No, not a sour. Okay. Marshmallow.
No.
Marshmallow is not in there either. Is it a fruit? Is there a fruit in there?
No fruits.
Jesus Christ almighty. I'm really off. Chocolate covered raisins. I don't fucking know. What are you drinking on over here? I'm striking out.
not terribly close, but not. Yeah, I mean, you're ballparking, I guess, maybe. But from Fatheads, this is their barrel-aged Doppelbock beer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's aged in bullet rye barrels.
Oh. Did you drink this one, or this a different variant on the one you drank before?
Different variant.
Gotcha.
Because the other one I drank was an old-fashioned style one.
That's
in
right.
Bullet barrels.
That's right.
This one is in rye barrel, but it's cinnamon toast inspired.
Sure it is.
Yeah.
That sounds.
It's
cinnamon toast Doppelbock, just as the Reinheitsgebot suggested.
Yeah. I mean, it smells like fucking Cinnabon.
Mm-hmm.
and it is 10.3%. So yeah,
You're getting after it.
I'm getting after it. It's punishment episode. Gotta drink pig.
Yeah, you got to go after it. I'll tell you that's quite a contrast from what I'm drinking. But Brandon, why don't you tell us if you got anything over there you're sipping on?
Yes, I do.
What do you got?
So I am drinking the Greenfield Ghoul.
Ooh.
By Necromancer Brewing, with a label designed by Alternate Histories, who's got a shop right here in Greenfield. It's a little intense for me. It's not usually what I go about drinking. It's an Imperial double red IPA. I think it's like 9%. It seemed appropriate for the evening. So
yeah, it does.
It is very tasty. It's just like it's a lot.
It's a big boy. It's a big boy.
Wasn't that a release they put out to kind of commemorate the opening of like their new space?
Yeah, so that's going to be right down the street from me. However, it's not open yet. They're still working on it. They were shooting for like a fall winter opening. Not there yet, but very excited because we don't have too much in this neighborhood. So that's going to be cool.
Nice.
Wasn't that the old Huff's place?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're taking over that space.
Oh, yeah. I used to work there. Back in the day.
What? Get out of town.
Yeah. Copper Kettle Brewing Company.
Wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's now a cider place just opened up in that space, I think.
Is it? Yeah, that was my first. That was my first like full time brewing gig there when they were doing the brew on premises and all that wild stuff over there.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was fun. That was
before my time.
Yeah, that was like 2011, 2010. So that was well over a decade ago at this point. It's kind of wild to say, but yes, that was well over a decade ago. In any case, guys, here, I'll show you what I'm drinking, right? I got this here. And inside this, you can't see really, but I just got 4 fucking Miller Lights in this ice bucket. And I'm just going to get them into my body. And then for that alcohol that's in the beer to get into my blood. And then to affect my nervous system in some capacity. That's what I'm looking to accomplish right now.
For those of you not on the Discord, what Brian held up to the camera was essentially a busted ass Folgers can full of ice and Miller Lights.
It's an ice bucket. Look, it's a fancy decorative ice bucket. But yes, it's approximately that size.
Something on the light. It looked like a Miller coffee or it looked like a Folgers coffee can.
I just emptied a bunch of screws and nails out of it in the garage and just put some fucking beers in it. That would have been
That's
cool.
That's exactly what I thought it was. I thought it was like your garage beer tender.
That would have been cooler. But yeah, I don't have a ton of good beer in the house right now. I've been like drinking on stouts and sours recently around the holidays. So I was like, I don't want that. And like I said, I just need some beers in me because I had a motherfucker of a week, you guys. Stressful, busy, wacky, crazy, and here I am sitting here with Killer Clowns from Outer Space on in the background, slugging on some beers as fast as I can, and talking horror with these lovely gentlemen. So that's where I'm at right now in my life. So we got the beers out of the way. We got one other thing we got to do before we get into this movie, guys. We have a showdown episode topic to announce. This is going to be the February showdown episode. That'll be the first Monday there in the wonderful month of February. Reminding y'all what you had to vote on over on the social medias. Again, if you want to help us vote on these things, if you want to provide suggestions for showdown episodes, if you want to just, see some fucking spooky shit on the internet, you got to get over there, follow us so you can help us out and vote on these topics. Again, the topics for February that were up for grabs were 2 kind of similar ones, and honestly, pretty interesting that we have Brandon on here as well, because he, being an author himself, kind of a coincidence that we actually had 2 literary topics on the potential February or on the February ballot here. So we had Stephen King adaptations. We also had just generally horror novel adaptations. And then we had musical horror, which is to say could be an actual musical with musical numbers in it, like musical theater type thing, or it could just be something that was, broadly had musical themes to it, right? Probably not a surprise here. The topic that ran away with the voting for February is going to be it's Stephen King adaptations, guys. This one's been on the wheel for a while. I'm really surprised it hasn't gotten picked already. So we'll start talking about Stephen King adaptations. I think one thing we talked about, Stephen, just to touch base, make sure we're still on the same page here. We're thinking that The Shining, we're gonna leave that off the board. We're gonna call Meg roll on that. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No Shining. That one's way too. It's just way too good. Like think of another Stephen King movie that you think is better than The Shining.
Yeah.
And you're probably wrong.
Yeah.
The only one I would do is literally just Maximum Overdrive as a goof. But we already did that movie in the past, so
that's already off the table, right? And I'm trying to think, are there other Stephen King movies that are off the table for us? I have one in my head that I really is my number one pick, which I'm not going to say obviously. But I am going to obviously have some backups, and I'm just thinking, what other ones have we done? I don't know if we actually have done it. We certainly have talked about them, but I don't know if we've actually done episodes on.
Did we do Creepshow 2 as an episode?
We talked about Creepshow 2 when I met the director.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we just talked about it on an episode.
Yeah, because I had a little chit chat with the director. Yeah, but I don't know if we've actually talked about. I don't know.
No, we really haven't. I'm looking through the list right now, and we really haven't touched on any of them, with the exception of that god awful 2020 Children of the Corn.
Oh yeah, we're not. No one's picking that some bitch anyway, right? So,
no. Oh no.
No, that was.
But I mean, no one's picking the original.
Shit. Or that, no, or that. But yeah, and Dan just called out the miss on here. So it could be short stories, it could be novels. It doesn't have to be, Stephen King novels. It could be short stories. It could be whatever. Like in Night Shift alone, I think there's about every damn story in Night Shift's got a movie adaptation almost at this point. So so lots to choose from there. All right, more on that next week when we pick our movies. All right, got all the bings and the bangs and the bongs and all that nonsense out of the way. So it's time for us to get into House 2, the second story from 1987. This movie, if you would have told me before we got into this, you said, hey, quick, who directed House 2? 0% chance. 0% chance I was going to get this
Big
right.
Whiff.
Big whiff on that. I have no clue. I wouldn't even be able to guess who it was. But... a gentleman with a interesting pedigree, not necessarily as a director, but some other kind of cool stuff. One Mr. Ethan Wiley, a lot of great stuff, and diverse too. I mean, so he's got, I would say, primarily a writer, written a lot of scripts. He wrote House, the original House from 1985. He also, 7 directing credits, but then producer, actor, special effects. Even composed the soundtrack for 2001's Jason X, if you could fucking believe it. Special effects on Return of the Jedi, and then writer and director of House 2. I have not seen any of his other directing credits. No. Children of the Corn 5, Fields of Terror. There's a slight chance I might have seen that, but I don't remember it. But yeah, what a bounce around kind of career, and really wrote a screenplay and I think directed a film as recently as 2017. So spans quite a range.
He has an insane, I don't understand his career. I don't know what he does in his off time, because it seems like he takes a lot of off time. But in 2012, he directed a movie called Elfman, and Elfman stars Wee Man.
Okay. Yep. This is all checking out. I was like, who's in
Stars
Elfman?
Wee Man from Jackass.
Sure.
As well as Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah, that would have been my second guess, of course.
And it's about an elf that Santa like has to like. It's like a family comedy of like Save Christmas and Save a Family's Christmas type shit.
I thought you were going to say it was like a Lovecraftian type of story. And, when I think Jeffrey Combs, I immediately think Lovecraft adaptations. Yeah, that's why it's so weird. And I might just be thinking of a literal sketch from Jackass. But when you're describing this movie, I was like, oh, I remember that movie. There's no fucking way I remember that movie.
No.
But that's it's got to just be like a Jackass sketch that I'm imagining right now.
Sure. Yeah. You're imagining like a time that Wee Man dressed as an elf and Preston Lacey dressed as Santa Claus and they ran down the street. That's what you're probably remembering.
1,000% describing exactly what is in my brain. Yes, that is accurate. Anyway, but otherwise, some interesting performers here. First of all, I'm going to mispronounce his first name. Is it
Aryeh?
Aryeh, or is it Irie? I don't know. My goodness. I swear earlier when
YouTube told me it was Aryeh.
Aryeh. Okay. Well, then I trust you.
If I trust.
Aryeh Gross, who plays Jesse, who's kind of the main protagonist. And he's been in a ton of stuff. You'd recognize his face for sure. Honestly, the thing I remembered him from was, yeah, I mean, he was in one episode of Better Call Saul. I actually remembered him from that. Minority Report. He has 130 acting credits, tons and tons of stuff. You'll recognize his face. This is obviously a young him. I recognize him as an older gentleman. But he's just got that like 80s comedian stand-up / comic actor that got a movie role type of vibe to him. Or got a sitcom, you know what I mean? Kind of vibe to him.
Yeah, like a Dave Coulier look.
Definitely would fit the mold of a Dave Coulier or like just any number of like stand-ups that they were trying out in pilots in the 80s and 90s, you know?
Yeah. I think like both of the leads in this film had to be like stand-ups at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other guy who plays Charlie,
yeah,
he goes on to actually do like a lot of comedic writing. His name's Jonathan Stark.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a lot of acting credits, but then he goes on to write Cheers for a couple episodes, and so like he had to have been like a stand-up comic who was just looking for an in.
Yeah,
and then they just
He's the most 80s. Like if you drew a picture of an 80s stand-up, like that's what Charlie would look like. He's got that vibe. I imagine like he had a couple of props in his act too. Like if I had to guess,
I would not be shocked if there's like a headshot of him wearing suspenders.
Yeah, there's a fucking piano keys on him. Yeah. So, but he's pretty damn entertaining. Not a ton of other people that I immediately like would call out as like huge names, with the exception of one. Speaking of Cheers, one Mr. John Ratzenberger, guys. So in the first movie, House from '85, we get the neighbor played by George Wendt, who's Norm from Cheers, and then in this movie we get one Mr. Cliff Clavin. John Ratzenberger as his name's Bill, but I had him written down in my notes. He's the mystical occult hero / electrician ?
Electrician and adventurer.
Yeah. So we'll get into it. It's fucking chaotic, guys. So anybody else you wanted to talk about? Either you wanted to call out?
There's one person I'll call out when we get to his scene, just because it's a funny scene, but also like it
I already know who you're gonna call. I already know who you're gonna say.
Yeah, it also ties into like like who produced this film and everything. So yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, I do want to comment on Jonathan Stark, who also was the kind of Renfield to Chris Sarandon's Jared Dandridge in Fright Night.
Oh, so, okay.
He's got a little bit more of a horror pedigree. But then also a fun fact that I discovered in my own research was that the Aztec woman who was going to be sacrificed, Devin Vasquez, was the Playmate of the Month for Playboy for my literal birth month, June 1985.
Holy
nice.
shit! You've got like a literal cosmic connection, and that's what that. I mean,
know.
If you ask why you made this, like why you picked this movie, the answer is it has a cameo from the Playmate of the Month when you were born.
When I was born.
Yeah,
got to track down that issue.
Yeah. Fuck astrology, fuck Chinese New Year astrology, fuck the zodiac calendar. Just figure out who was the Playboy Playmate.
Yeah.
Yep, of your birth month.
I wish mine was Sable. Remember when Sable was in Playboy? That was awesome. Guys, total non sequitur there. That was the only issue of Playboy that I remember my father actually going out and buying. Like he was like, I need to go buy this porno mag because Sable from the WWF is in it. And I need to see what her breasts look like. That's what my father said. And then did it and hid it. And my brother and I found it. Because listen, there's one skill I have. I put it on my resume to this day. I'm like a goddamn bloodhound with porn. I'll sniff that fucking thing out. I don't care where you put it. I'll sniff that porn out.
The computers have made you obsolete.
I know.
They took your job.
I get no, like I'm like a grizzled old PI that like his phone never rings. He just sits in his office and chain smokes cigarettes because I never get any calls to sniff out porn anymore in the woods. Anyway, that's a whole script that I'm working on, guys. So first of all, I want to say about this movie, great score. Don't remember that. Don't remember the score in this movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the score is by Harry Manfredini. So, he's coming off of Jason 6. Yeah. Jason Lives. So he's just come off that. And so the movie is produced by Sean S. Cunningham. And it's also produced by New World Pictures. And I forget if this is before or after Corman sold his stake in New World. I forget.
87 sounds like after.
Yeah,
I would guess. I would have guessed 82 that happened, but I might be wrong. I might have my timelines mixed up, but it's interesting because I mean you can see the kind of the Manfredini kind of feel to it, but it also feels a little ahead of its time in that you get the like plucky strings with the like intermittent like squealy noises on the strings too. It just feels very like A24-ish, which is weird to say, but it just feels very modern in its score, or like this style of score has come back around. But yeah, the plucky strings followed by the like kind of bracing dissonant notes on the strings was it just like first time I paid attention to it and I was like, wow, this kind of feels weirdly modern. So in the beginning of the movie, and I'd like to talk about why this is the case, right? But it starts out in the like 50s or 60s or something, right? 1950s, 1960s, something like that. And there's this couple and they seem to be dealing babies. They're in the baby dealing business. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but another couple comes over, they give them a baby, you know, there's some discourse in terms of baby transfer, and then and then you know, crying and whatnot, and then they just move into stalking an intruder with a gun in their home. I might have just this might have breezed by me later in the movie. You know, we do later reveal, spoiler alert, to a plot point that doesn't fucking matter at all as far as I can tell. The family was I think what they did is they gave up Jesse, the main character, for adoption, kind of an unofficial late night rendezvous adoption of sorts.
Yeah.
To like a wealthy family. Like they sold them to like a wealthy family. You don't really learn why they do that, nor does it really matter later on. Like Jesse comes back to his home, but it's all about relations way before that. So like he could have grown up in that home and it wouldn't matter, but they make it so like he's coming back to his ancestral home and he sees a picture and he's like, those are my parents, and like you assume he grew up elsewhere away from his biological parents, but it doesn't matter. None of that really had to have happened, I feel
Not
like.
at all.
No.
Even like the mom going with the dad to hunt down Slim Reeser, like, why is the mom there? She doesn't even have a gun.
Nah.
What are you doing? Just go with the baby.
Yeah, go
Right.
somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Do something else.
Go somewhere else.
So as you allude to, they're hunting around the house. All of a sudden, dang old stranger zombie, zombie demon cowboy looking son of a bitch with a skull comes, pops out, and the couple knows what he's talking about. He says, I want the skull, blah, 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 blah. By the way, he's got the voice of Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget, in case you're wondering.
Oh yeah.
If you're trying to picture this,
it's Frank Welker, right?
Yeah.
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 I mean, he's doing Dr. Claw. I mean, it's dead on.
Well, he's doing Dr. Claw the same he did it in Munchies. Frank Welker has.
I forgot about it. Yeah, I fucking love
Frank
Munchies.
Welker has 4 voices, and he's been living off them forever.
Oh yeah, he's getting some fucking most prolific
And
voice
cheers to
actor of
him
all time.
for that.
Yeah, my God, what a guy. They know what he's talking about with the skull. We don't know what he's talking about. The couple knows what he's talking about. They don't hand him over, and then they pow, they blast him. Now, 25 years later, you get this young kind of yuppie-ish kind of couple shows up at that same house. It's this big old, looks like a big old Southern California fucking mansion, right? This is Jesse's, ancestral home. You get introduced to his girlfriend, Kate, who's kind of not cool, but I don't really know if you're supposed to think she's not cool. But she's like works in the music industry. She's kind of like an important person in the music. She's like a record exec kind of, or something to that effect, right?
Well, these two like setup scenes of Jesse and Kate arriving, and then Charlie and Lana arriving. You're supposed to kind of get the feeling like these are our 4 victims. Like they're going to be harassed and chased by the cowboy ghost, and they're going to get picked off one by one.
Yep,
is what you think is going to happen
in a normal movie.
Yeah,
in a normal movie.
In a regular movie, that's what would happen.
In a normal movie produced by Sean S. Cunningham with score by Harry Manfredini, yes, that absolutely happens.
There is a formula here: 1 + 1 = 2. But no, not this movie. 1 + 1 = 13.5 or something like that.
But they all are like unlikable yuppies. Like Jesse kind of feels like he's from privilege because he owns a mansion. Well, and also he's a quote unquote artist that's like clearly not famous, nor does he sell anything, but that's what he does for a living. So like, yeah, he's definitely feels like he comes from money, and the house is a dead fucking giveaway, right? Right. Yeah. And then you have Charlie, who I don't even know what he fucking does. I forget. I know he drives
entrepreneur.
Right. He's an entrepreneur. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And he drives a red Alfa Romeo convertible. So like that's a douchebag car back then.
Yeah.
I assume he was rich, like he grew up rich, but also he sells coke. Like that's what I took.
Yeah.
Charlie's most likely profession.
Or he's probably actually a gun runner. Because he has
because he has
Uzi.
Why does he have an Uzi?
Fuck. Yeah. You're 100% right. That's way more likely. Now I completely forgot about the Uzi. We'll talk about that. It's fucking bonkers. And then Jesse's girlfriend is Kate, who she's the record exec, and then Lana, who is Charlie's girl. You can't tell girlfriend. You don't know what type of relationship they're in, but she's the lead singer of a band, which we'll get to here in a damn sec. So his name's Jesse McLaughlin. He's named after his great grandfather. So Jesse starts to hear some like weird scratching noises in the house. They're getting there, and this is even before Charlie shows up. But he gets fucked up by an ironing board, which is a great bit. Again, this is where you start to get the idea that this is just going to be a Looney Tunes episode. We've talked about this on the show. All the funniest bits are still just from Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies. And this is a great one. You get hit with a fucking ironing board that folds up in the closet. It's a great bit. Then Charlie and Lana show up and they're fucking hammered. And they are straight off of just a rousing old drunken drive that they just had. And they're cracking up. And they are really, truly cartoon. They're like cartoon mice that are drunk. You know what I mean? Like hiccuping and like, stumbling around and stuff like that.
Somebody should have been carrying a bottle that had 3 X's on it.
Yeah, and there should have just been like bubbles floating up from their head when they hiccuped, which I always wonder, what is that? Is that supposed to be carbonation from beer? Like, why is there always bubbles floating up from drunk cartoon characters' faces? Charlie's girlfriend is the lead singer of Puce, Glitz, and the Avoiders, guys. If you're not familiar, little college radio perhaps for me, but Puce, Glitz, and the Avoiders. You might come up on Jeopardy someday. But Kate wants to sign her band because she thinks they're hot shit. They're like, it's the act she's looking for.
Her other band, Men in Tights, hadn't taken off yet.
Not yet. It's there. It's there. It's right on the horizon. Jesse finds, I don't know, he's looking at pictures and he sees the difference between his old family skulls, as you do. And then, this really quickly escalates to him talking about his great grandfather, whose name was also Jesse, so he's named after him, I mentioned. He's got a dang old crystal skull. Not that crystal skull. A different, more nondescript crystal skull that you don't really know what it does, is I guess what I'm getting down to. It does magic, but we're not really sure to what degree or in what fashion it facilitates magic. And he talks about, he had this partner named Slim. Spoiler alert, Slim was the guy who shot the parents earlier on. It's very obvious. There's no sleuthing required. Doesn't require too many hints there. Which is just a bad combo. You got a bad old arch enemy cowboy gunslinger, and you got a fucking magic crystal skull. Like, shit's gonna go down. They had become enemies. Slim wanted the skull. Jesse, we learn later, Jesse shot him. Again, there's no surprise when we learn that was the case. There's a second skull, and it's missing. That's the whole idea. Is like, we have a skull here. This is my great grandpappy's skull. It's supposed to be dangerous magic. And he looks at the picture and he's like, well, that ain't the skull. The other skull must be buried with him up the road. So they escalate very quickly to just like chit-chatting around, straight into fucking desecrating their ancestors' graves. Like within 10 minutes.
They go from zero to grave robbing in 5 seconds.
So
and
fast.
Charlie, the friend, is just all about it. He's like, you want to dig up a fucking grave? Let's go.
Well, that's why I originally said coke dealer for Charlie. Because that's a fucking coke or meth. Like, I mean, this was before, I think. I don't think people in Southern California driving Alfa Romeos are doing meth, but like, this is a meth move. Like, let's go grave robbing tonight, right? But they find the skull in like 5 seconds. Great grandpa Jesse's body reanimates immediately, and he's a very strong albino mummy. And he has these bulging red eyes and a 6-shooters, which is funny for a zombie to come up to you and he's like, I'm gonna attack you, I'm a zombie, and then just like, put him up, partner. He pulls out a gun. But he looks like, at first, I didn't remember this part. I'd only seen this movie once before. It was years ago. I didn't remember this part, but I'm like, is that really what his eyes look like? He's got these bulging red, super fake eyes. I was like, I don't remember this. He looks like a fucking Star Trek, like original series Star Trek villain.
Yeah.
But then it's a mask, which is like, okay, that's why it looks so dumb, because it's a mask. But then I'm like, what? Why and when did he put the mask on? Why did the zombie? Because he says, like, I've been waiting for someone for 70 dang tarnation dang old years to come over here and dig me up. Did you have that mask on for 70 years waiting for somebody to dig you up? Is that what happened, sir?
He did. Yes.
And it was all just to spook him because he wanted to get woken up, right?
Yes. Because the whole thing was he wanted to be buried with all his treasures, and they buried him. Whoever buried him, they buried him with like kind of the gold across his chest and the mask on his face.
Yeah, he had to say to somebody, listen, Poncho, you're my best friend. I'm about to die. I'm on my deathbed. Make sure you put this silly Halloween mask on me when you bury me.
Yeah, wrap me up like a fucking mummy.
I just don't understand to what end.
Make sure I have my gun and it's loaded.
Loaded and hammer cocked back, because the second I wake up, there's action.
I'm blasting.
I'm going to wake up with a silly mask and somebody's going to get fucking blasted.
I guess his idea was like he was supposed to get dug up pretty quick. Like they shouldn't have left him buried is what it was.
You're probably right.
Somebody should have come. Yeah, somebody should have come got him after a couple days, but they didn't. They just left him down there because he didn't want to be down there all that long.
Yeah, he does seem very surprised that it was 70 years. But anyway, he's got the skull, as you might imagine. And they get back to the house, and Jesse's his great grandfather, and they're talking about, wow, hey, you're my great grandson, and blah 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 blah. Jesse wants to party. He's like, let's go fucking out and get ripped and tear up the town. And then he looks in the mirror and realizes that he's super old. He's like 170 years old. He thought he was going to, like, whatever spell or some bullshit when he died, he thought he was going to wake up and be young still, right? But he's not. He's old. And there's a great quote. He says, I'm a 770-year-old fart, a goddamn zombie. He's got this old prospector talk, like just down pat. It's great lines.
So that's Royal Dano, the guy who also plays the I'll be greased and fried farmer from Killer Clowns. And he's got the
wow. I'm literally watching.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
No, that's wild.
That old timey prospector voice. He's got it down.
Perfect. That's his fucking bread and butter.
Yeah, he's one of those actors that's been in, like Westerns since the dawn of, cinema, and he was on TV as well. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite lines by him is when he's telling them about the crystal skull, and it's so funny because it's anachronistic the way he understands it, but also he spells it out in his timey language. He's like, you don't know nothing about no time or space or none of that hogwash. So it's like he understands like the quantum implications of the skull, but also it's all hogwash anyway.
I thought that was funny too. I actually kind of to myself because I just started rewatching oh my god, the freaking detective show, the weird like
True Detective?
Columbo.
True Detective. No, not Columbo. True Detective. For some reason, I couldn't think of the word true. I started rewatching that. And so I just imagine him going, well, by gum, one time somebody told me time was a flat circle. And I said, well, that's a whole lot of mumbo jumbo. Speaking of Killer Clowns, I'm at the spot where he's got the dead sheriff and he's using him as a ventriloquist. It's so fucking great. For those of you who are just eager to get an update on the movie I'm watching. So Charlie, so he says, you can call me Gramps, old Jesse said, call me Gramps. Charlie takes Gramps out for his favorite pastime, which of course is drunk driving. So they go out and just get fucking hammered and just crash his car, just bounce it off his shit, fly around like a fucking maniacs. It's a pretty comical scene. They're just like swigging whiskey and saying wild shit. Then Bill Maher shows up, and
oh god, yeah.
Not even like political affiliation. What do you think about Bill Maher? Bill Maher is one of the most annoying dicks with the most punchable faces in the fucking world. Like when I see Bill Maher, I want to do violence to him immediately. Yeah, it's
so funny because like this is like one of his first films that he's doing. Mm-hmm. And how old is this film now? 40, almost 40 years?
30,
almost.
Yeah, 35.
We're not quite 40, Steve.
Yeah, I know. I'm bad at terrible math. So like
36.
So it's
right.
Yeah. So we have proof positive confirmation that Bill Maher has been a dickhead with a punchable face longer than we've been alive.
Mm-hmm. He's always been a dickweed.
Yeah, entire lifetimes and generations. Like I want to know further back into his life. At what point did he not have a punchable face? Like, guaranteed he was 11 and
I'm
just
sure
telling.
He got bullied as a child.
Had to have. Yeah.
He was. Yeah, you're right. He was just fucking narking on people left and right. I want to do the thing to him where I take my pointer finger, my index finger, and my middle finger, and stick them up his nostrils and like kind of pick him up by his nostrils, like he did in like a Dennis the Menace cartoon or something. That's what I want to do to him. Or just we do the old like somebody get like on all fours, stand behind him, and they just shove him over the back.
Oh my god! I was thinking exactly that.
That's such a great bit, great gag.
It's so humiliating. Just pull his pants down and push him over somebody, and just let that like bring him off of his ivory tower of smugness is where he lives. Make him just roll around in his underwear for a minute and make everybody laugh at that. That's all it is.
We used to do that to our friend in college who was like much bigger and stronger and probably could have beat the shit out of us. We would do that to him, but he's too slow. So our favorite thing to do was do that. Somebody stand behind him, push him down, and then he'd get up. And if he caught you, he'd beat the shit out of you. But he could never catch you. He just ran away. And you just run around. I remember like running around Wick Park in Youngstown for like 20 minutes and him trying to catch me. And I'm like, you're never going to catch me. And he's just gassed. Or we used to slap beers out of his hands. Like he'd just be sitting there talking and you just walk up and just slap the beer out of his hands. Such a rude, ignorant thing to do. But we just,
that's one of those play stupid games, win stupid prizes type things.
Oh yeah,
it's like he'll fuck you up if he gets you.
Oh yeah. One time he just punched me right between the eyes, and I was like, "Ow, fuck!" It's like you can't be mad. You can't be mad at that. I deserved it 100%. Anyway, so Charlie takes, like I said, Gramps out drunk drive, and Bill fucking Maher shows up. His name's John, by the way. He's the president of the record company that Kate works for. And they do this whole bit about how Gramps is already bored of TV, and also like he has a very strong opinion about Ronald Reagan already. Like it's such a funny, silly bit.
So it's actually kind of funny though, because Royal Dano he starred in a lot of like the old westerns and TV shows in the past, and so like
Reagan was in.
Yeah, well, Reagan was kind of like a Rod Serling type back in the day, of like he did intros for General Electric Theater, and he would come on and he's like, "Well, I guess we're gonna have this old West tale. How's it going?" And then they would segue into the actual.
That was a pretty good Reagan, by the way.
I was gonna say that was a pretty impressive Reagan. I was pretty impressed by that.
You've been working on that one, dude.
It's all right, but then. Then it would segue into the actual Old West tale that Royal Dano was in. Okay. So, but like they definitely had like a lot of crossover, and like Royal Dano was connected to him in a couple of projects. So yeah, it's funny that one, it's 87 and he's bagging on Reagan and calling Reagan a pussy, but then also, yeah.
So Jesse asks Gramps about Slim, and he explains, he had to shoot him because he shot him first, and blah, blah, blah. And then he like left him out in the desert to die, right? Which is like, hey, that was kind of a not cool thing to do. But so they do this basically a little montage of Gramps telling Jesse and Charlie a bunch of like old cowboy yarns, and Jesse and Charlie are just like captivated. And the seemingly goes on for like hours. They're sitting there drinking beer, eating chips, and just listening to old cowboy yarns. And then they're like, damn, it's been a long time, whatever. I'm going to go upstairs. And he's like, oh, go get some more beer or whatever. They go upstairs. Just a huge Halloween party happening upstairs, a massive Halloween party with like dozens and dozens of people. And Charlie's like, oh, I've invited a bunch of people over for Halloween. I forgot. I'm like, who decorated? There's elaborate decorations.
Right. How could there be decorations? How could any of that party be prepared for?
Food out, displayed, like it's
insane.
There's a refreshment table. Like you forgot you did all this.
Didn't know that this movie was off the rails before this. Like You know what explains all this Charlie behavior though? Is like Charlie split an 8-ball with himself that morning.
And then he like just set up an entire Halloween party, invited everyone, and then came downstairs and got tied up in cowboy yarns. You know what I mean? For 5 hours. And then they showed up upstairs.
That's the only explanation.
The party's in full swing. Yeah. It's a great scene, though. It's a great. When we were on with the Haunted Hangover guys, we talked about our favorite like Halloween party scenes. I wish I would have thought of this one because this is a great one.
This is a good one.
It just gives you some strong Halloween vibes. Jesse's ex shows up. Her name's Rochelle. She shows up and she's drunk and she's like smooching him or whatever. Bill Maher sees the smooch, even though it wasn't Jesse's idea, it was Rochelle's. But he goes and tells Kate, and Kate's pretty bummed about this. Simultaneously, Gramps has come up from the basement. And he's mixing it up at the party, right? He's dancing. For some reason in this scene, he reminded me of John Lovitz, like in the back of like a party, like dancing with young people. Just, I don't know what movie I'm picturing or skit that I'm picturing, but it's John Lovitz just like trying to blend in and mix it up with young people at a party. But luckily for him, really, they're playing like this whole hoedown playlist at the party because he's like, doing a little jig and it's all fun. It's like, well, of course he knows how to dance to this music. They're playing a goddamn hoedown. Did they know? Did he put this music on? And then, Steve, I assume this is your special guest shows up that you wanted to talk about, right?
Well, it's not so much the guy who shows up; it's who he punches. So,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
This giant dude who is credited as Arnold the Barbarian in the credits, he apparently is summoned by the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
And so he starts just walking through the party.
Oh, yeah. So two things here. I forgot about who he punches. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's walking through the party and there's this couple and, they're talking together and one of them is dressed as a gorilla and the barbarian brushes past them a little too hard. The gorilla takes his mask off to reveal Kane Hodder.
Yeah.
And he gives him the whole, hey, you. And the barbarian just turns around and punches him over the balcony. Mm-hmm. And Hodder takes a pretty good pratfall off the balcony and then lands on a couch. And this whole scene reminded me of the party from Weird Science at the end.
Yeah, I could see that.
There's just something, there's just something about it of just like the way this guy invades and like he's completely mute. Like the monsters were the mutants were mute. The biker gang, they were basically mute. So just the way he punches Kane Hodder and then like that's your link. It's like, oh yeah, they just got done with Jason Lives. So like the whole gang is here. Jason's here. Manfredini's doing the songs.
Put him they're all sitting around passing joints. He's like, put on the fucking gorilla suit. Do a flip. You're a fucking stunt guy. Yeah, I almost forgot that Kane Hodder was the gorilla. It's in my notes later, but because I was so enthralled by. Did you notice who the barbarian is? The big giant guy.
He's from Running Man.
Yeah, he's Buzzsaw from the Running Man.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, which I did not recognize. That was something I looked up and noticed. I did not recognize him, but yeah, and he's the one who punches a young Kane Hodder. But in any case, great scene. He tries to take the skull from Gramps, the barbarian does, and then tries to take the skull from the mantle. Gramps kind of confronts him as Kate is confronting Jesse about him smooching Rochelle. Anyway, we come to learn that the barbarian came from a jungle portal room, like one of the rooms in the house is just a portal to a jungle. And he escaped back into that with the skull. And apparently Gramps will die without the skull. Like it's his life. It says like his lifeblood now, like without the skull, he'll die. I guess they kind of did suggest that earlier, but it wasn't spelled out necessarily. And they're like, all right, we're going into the jungle. And Charlie's like, all right, hold on, I got something. He comes back with a fucking Uzi. And then right about now, like things are kind of wacky up to this point. Little zany, right? Little madcap. This is when shit goes bonkers. So Charlie gets an Uzi, and then they do this bit where because Jesse's not fazed by Charlie having an Uzi. He's like, yeah, it's Charlie. He's got an Uzi, right? And then he's like, well, I need a gun. And he hands him this little, like, fucking Derringer looking tiny little, PP. What's the James Bond gun? PP.
They do that. Yeah, they do that Men in Black cricket joke.
Yeah, the noisy cricket. Yeah. That's a better analysis of what it was. Yeah. And of course, so in contrast, I got a little tiny gun. Okay. So they fucking, well, and the bit, and maybe my favorite Charlie line is he's like, what the, what? He looks at the little tiny gun. Why'd you give me this? And he goes, I only have the one Uzi, It's a great. But anyway, so
what am I going to do with this? Light cigars? No, you shoot people with it.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, some good banter throughout. They confront Buzz.
Can I ask? I just want to pause at this point because so we've been spending this time with Jesse and Charlie, and they're not terrible, but also I think they're kind of the weakest point of this movie. And the whole time I'm watching it, I was imagining two other actors, and I'll see if you guys agree with me. Instead of Jesse, Andrew McCarthy from Weekend at Bernie's.
Jesse feels like a poor man's Andrew McCarthy if you think about it a little bit. Yeah.
And then instead of who's playing Charlie, Michael Moriarty.
So he looks like Michael Moriarty.
Oh, I don't see that one.
But Michael Moriarty,
just because they're tall guys.
No, but he looks a little bit like a young Michael Moriarty from like Q the Winged Serpent. Like a young, because he's gangly, he's goofy.
I could see it.
Michael Moriarty's too hard boiled for this, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's too hard boiled. He's too, even when he's silly, even when he's in the stuff and it's like, hey, sweaty palm, another sweaty palm. Like he's too cool guy-ish. Like his line delivery's too cool.
I knew that one was a little controversial, because I wasn't even sold on it completely myself. But what about this one? Harry Anderson from Night Court.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I would actually see him more as Jesse. I want to
see that.
Yeah.
I'd rather see him as Jesse.
Yeah.
Because I also just wanted to maintain, because we have the Cheers link between Wendt and Gratzenberger. We could have a Night Court link between Anderson and Richard Mole, who was in the first one.
Oh, I have one. Going a little bit more in the nerdy direction, go with his name's Jason Lively. He plays Russ Griswold in European Vacation. He's also in Night of the Creeps.
In Night of the Creeps, yeah.
I could see him in that role as well. Like he's like the.
He would have been too young though, because that was Night of the Creeps was 86.
Yeah.
So
he would have been too young. You're right. Anyway, I love a recast discussion. I'm always up for a recast discussion.
I mean, you could cast any 80s white guy as Jesse and it would probably work. But I actually think Stark is great as Charlie. I think he really nails it.
I agree with both of you, because I agree that Jesse is a little weak. He doesn't bring a lot to the party. And you don't really he's just inoffensive.
You're not rooting for him. He's just there.
Yeah. But I do like Charlie. Charlie's the highlight of the movie for me. But I wish they would have cut him loose a little bit. Let him do more wacky shit. You know what I mean? He was down for it.
For sure.
Anyway, so they confront Buzzsaw in the jungle, and then they're saved by, and again, this is when shit goes bonkers, and I'm starting to really have fun. They're saved by a giant, or by a claymation, like, giant mutant mole or hedgehog or some shit. Is?
I was like, is that like a fish monster?
I think it was a mole.
I just love that they have this stop motion stuff though. Like it's so old school. It's so great. I love it all.
Yeah, and he just jumps in and fucking eats them, right? And then like the skull is then taken by a pterodactyl. And you're like, what are you talking about, guys? We were just at a Halloween party, And
right,
you're
just
right.
having a party. Right?
Yeah. And now it's fucking the skull's getting taken by a pterodactyl. And then there's lots of cool claymation, stop motion, and tons of puppets in this movie.
Yeah.
it's just, you could tell this movie's made with a lot of care, a lot of love was put in this movie, like a disproportionate amount.
You guys probably found this in your research as well, but those effects were done by Chris Wallace, who was the guy who created Gremlins, and he also did effects for The Fly, Enemy Mine. I guess he had also done some uncredited stuff on Return of the Jedi, maybe with Wiley. So that's maybe where they met. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Wiley also worked on Gremlins too.
You know it's. Oh yeah, so there you go. So knowing that it was like, oh, the Gremlins guy did this, it was like, oh yeah, well, that's why it looks so good.
Well, even when you see our maybe my favorite character that's coming up, Bippy. Bippy looks like a fucking gremlin. I mean, he really does. Like he looks like a mogwai. Totally. He looks like a mogwai. We'll get to that in a second. This is again, shit's off the rails. They had the pedigree. They had a lot of talent on set. I honestly think it was like, hey, do you guys want to hang out in LA for a few more weeks? We'll shoot this other movie. We'll all get fucked up every night and just like party and shoot this dumb movie. Like, honestly, I think that's what happened. And that's why they had so many people involved. It was a fucking boondoggle, you know?
Yeah. I believe it. I mean, IMDb says that Wiley only had 2 weeks to write the script. So that would make sense.
Yeah.
It was like, oh shit, everybody's going to leave if we don't get this thing out there. So here we go.
And it has so little to do with House, the first movie. Like it really is just like
nothing at all.
It's
nothing.
It's like the later Hellraiser movies where it's just like, this was a script that I wrote. And then somebody said, I think we can get the rights to the franchise of Hellraiser and then we can make this a Hellraiser movie. And they're like, fine, whatever. I feel like that happened with this. And it was like, you guys remember House? And they were like, oh yeah. Do you want to make this the second House? And they're like, sure, we have a house.
Yeah.
It can take place in a house, it's fun.
Yeah. What else you need?
That makes me want to look up. So like the house that they film in, it's you can find it on IMDb. It's called the Stimson House. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if they had it contracted for like another project, but they still had time left on that film or something like that.
Oh yeah, what else was shot there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that jumps out at me right now, but yeah, like I mean, there a bunch of other things have been filmed at this house though, like the 1994 movie Clifford with fucking.
Oh my god, that movie's so funny.
Martin Short,
yeah, he plays the little kid, and it's the dad from Beethoven too.
Charles Grodin,
yeah, I always forget his name. Yeah. My god, that movie is so weird and funny. Like I'm a bit. I understand that like Martin Short's polarizing. A lot of people don't like Martin Short. I'm a big Martin Short fan. Between Clifford and Jiminy Glick, I mean, Martin Short is like does no wrong in my book. That movie's so fucking weird. That one clip that everyone plays, like you see it on social media, of him, he's like, just look at me like a regular person. And it's him because Clifford is the boy and he's like insane and he's trying to like act like a normal person. He's like, it's just so, I mean, it's exactly as funny in the movie as that singular clip. Anyway, so Jesse ends up climbing up this like fucking jungle tree to a pterodactyl nest. It's this whole comedic, craziness ensues, and they crash back down, and they crash through the house, the titular house, into the basement, and they have salvaged the skull. And something that comes down with them out of the tree and smashes down into the other dimension, apparently, is this fucking. It's a giant 2.5 foot long green, like chubby caterpillar with a dog face, like a puppy's face.
Yeah, it's a caterpuppy.
It's a caterpuppy.
So I gotta cut in there because I have a caterpuppy.
Oh yes, you do. Jesus,
Look at that. So my friend Melissa, Bambi's clay design on Etsy.
Yeah,
she made this for me, a request. And she did a fucking phenomenal job.
Oh my god, she nailed the face. I mean, it literally looks exactly like it.
Puppy.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good. I keep this on my desk It is a special thing to me.
Yeah.
So,
What is it?
yeah,
Bippy?
I love the caterpuppy.
Bippy the caterpuppy. I mean, that's got like Tickle Me Elmo vibes all over it. Like, come on, guys, we can make this. This is $1 million idea.
It should have been. It should have been.
So, and it's very cute, we should say. Like, that's the thing that stands out as weird. It's like, it's super cute and endearing. It's got the big, oversized, cutesy eyes. And you're just like, why is this in this movie? I mean, I think they were trying to do Gizmo vibes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so there's this scene.
I read an interview with Wallace, who said basically he had this design just like kicking around in his office, and so when they were trying to figure out what kind of things they were going to throw in this movie, he was like, "Well, we're doing all kinds of other zany shit. Can I make this puppet?" And Wiley was like, "Yeah, sure, make that puppet. We'll find a place for it."
He was like, he looked up with a straw in his nose and was like, "Yeah, make the fucking caterpuppy. I don't give a shit."
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
That sounds fucking awesome, dude. Do it. We got a blank check on this motherfucker.
Yeah, it feels like, and again, if there was like kind of a truncated production schedule on this, a lot of times, these effects houses just have shit lying around that were just, things that they were working on. Mm-hmm. And now they're going to throw it at. Like, that's, even though Roger Corman did sell New World Pictures back in '83, that's a very Roger Corman thing to do, is to just take and repurpose and reuse, just whatever.
You got this fucking spider? That's
spider. Going back to Fright Night, the bat version of Jerry Dandridge was like a cast off of from Ghostbusters that the effects guys had it there, and they were like, "All right, well, let's use it in this movie, save some bucks."
It's crazy how that just became normal too after that. Like, because you'd see it, and like anybody who was really into these movies would recognize it. Because I'm sitting here watching Killer Clowns, and it's like the Kyoto brothers took the Killer Clowns and turned one of them into the fucking gnome, or no, it's not a gnome, it's a troll from Ernest Scared Stupid. Yeah, so it's like that just became best practice in low budget horror after that. But
it's recycling, man.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
don't let anything go to waste.
You can doll it up, right? So there's this scene here, and this is like really. We get a heavy dose of Bill Maher, which I'm not interested in. But it's Bill Maher coming in with Kate to confront Jesse about Rochelle and the smooching that happened earlier. And Charlie's there, and they're like, "What you been doing?" And just Bill Maher's being so snarky and so smug, and you just want to smack him so hard. And he's like, "I'm just going to tell you what happened." And he just does this big blurt out of the entire, "Hey, this is all the wacky shit that's happening. And there's a fucking baby pterodactyl." And because they're like, "What's in the closet?" They think Rochelle's in there. He's like, "It's a baby pterodactyl because this, that, and the other." And then he opens up, because there was a baby pterodactyl in there. He opens up the door, and Rochelle's in there. And the baby pterodactyl was in there, and then they're like, "Oh, they caught him red-handed," kind of thing, and then they like tear off, and it's like that's the end of John, Kate. Like, we don't see them anymore; they're now out of the movie. They break it off, and they take off. And then
we need to stop. We need to acknowledge that, though. That is crazy.
Yeah,
the girlfriends leave with Bill Maher, and they're never seen again. They have nothing else to do with the movie.
Yeah.
They're out
they
of
don't
the
come
movie.
back.
Yeah.
We don't get Goose Glitz and the Avoiders rock and roll, big finale.
Right.
We don't get Mar like getting his comeuppance. Nothing. Like, they're just out of the movie. Like, no other movie would do that. And House 2 says, "You know what? The girlfriends are done. And Bill Maher's done without the fucking movie."
Yeah,
these
that's
key
a
characters,
plot-wise, that's crazy.
Yeah, these key characters that we've been building up for a little while now, spending a very significant time on some of them, have now left, and you won't see them no more.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest sin of this movie, is that Bill Maher doesn't get any sort of comeuppance.
Yeah.
Like,
no, he wins. I mean, from his
Essentially.
point of view.
yeah.
I
Yes,
like to
essentially.
think I like to think he died in a fireball in the interstate. That's what I like to think.
They all have a car crash on the way out of there because they're so upset,
Yeah.
and then they die.
Yeah.
And then
They get run
they're all
over by
dead.
a fucking cement truck as soon as they turn onto the interstate. But yeah, so Rochelle's in the closet, but then they're like, well, where did the fucking big, loud, vicious baby pterodactyl go? And then after the whole thing irons out, then he opens up another, and this is a fucking Muppet Show bit, right? He opens up the other cabinet and there's the baby pterodactyl's in there. And you're like, is this some Scooby-Doo doors that people just can go in and out
Like,
of?
who built these cabinets?
Yeah. It's just Scooby-Doo doors in this son of a bitch everywhere.
It's a Tom and Jerry bit. You open one cabinet.
But then Gramps shows that it really is Scooby-Doo doors.
Yeah.
It really is. That's like swiveling back. It's insane. It's
the
so
titular house, guys. It's a wacky house. Get it?
the house, man.
It's the house. They get the skull back, and Gramps is like feeding the caterpuppy, who we say his name is Bippy. He's feeding him beers, doing cute stuff, you know. And then, guys, witch doctors. You guessed it. Witch doctors show up, or they're somewhere between like. And when you said Aztec, like, yeah, you're probably more accurate. But when they show up, the way they're like talking and stuff, it feels like there's like vaguely racist old Looney Tunes caricatures of like witch doctor cannibals.
It for sure is. Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, they're saying like racist nonsense, whatever that is. You know, it's goofball stuff. But and it's probably all white dudes too. But I think they are supposed to be Aztecs.
The lead high priest is a white guy, but the guy that Charlie winds up fighting he's actually Native American. But I don't think Aztec. So it's still just like bad casting. But then like when they discover them, they're doing they're just all that chanting and bullshit just sounds like gobbledygook. Like they just said make fucking noises that sounds foreign.
Discount Temple of Doom, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
yes,
exactly.
there is a lot of that, a lot of those vibes. In the interim, they escape, and in the interim, an electrician shows up. Right? No one called the electrician. Oh, go ahead.
Nobody called him. But before we get to that, I just wanted to point out a line. They attack Gramps, and Gramps is on the ground. And then when he's discovered, he's like, "Oh, there must have been 30 or 40 of them." I was like, "Feral hogs?"
30 or 40 feral hogs?
Oh, feral hog.
40 to 50 feral hogs, sir.
Came and stole my skull.
Terminally online.
Stole my crystal skull.
That.
So then this electrician shows up. Nobody called them. The electrician is suggesting that Kate called him. The electrician is, like I said, one Mr. John Ratzenberger, aka Cliff Clavin. His character is so confusing. Okay, so at first he feels like he's going to be this kind of like grifter, you know, contractor type, like unscrupulous contractor that comes in is like, you got a big problem here. I'm going to have to fix it. It's going to cost you a lot of money. You know, I can help you out. You know, so he's this kind of scumbaggy type of character at first, but then he starts to do his scumbaggy work, and Jesse's just like disinterested. He ends up breaking a big hole in the wall, and he calls them into the room. There's this whole bit about like him showing them and them not wanting to be part of it or whatever. And he says, it looks like you got some sort of alternative universe in there or something. and they're like, yeah. And of course they understand it because they've been in the house. They've been through the jungle. They've been after Buzzsaw. They've been into alternative universe. They brought a fucking caterpuppy back with them, but they know all the things that are happening in the house. But the fact that Cliff Clavin is like, he literally is like, I've seen this kind of thing before. I'll help you out. And then he pulls up one of the compartments in his tool box, and he's got like a cutlass in there.
He's prepared.
And you're like, what the fuck is this character? because he's like, but a second ago he was like this grifter electrician. He's like this know-it-all guy. And now he's like this adventurer, but he keeps saying things like, they're like, oh, be careful. And he's like, nah, I got it. Don't worry. He's like, I got to get back home. Tonight's my kid's little league night. Like he has a home life and he is truly an electrician.
Yeah.
But he's some sort of like ancient occult electrician
He's
that like battles demons in alternate universes on the regular.
Yeah. He's almost like some sort of like omniscient Ghostbuster in a way. Because
omniscient Ghostbuster. I had written Ghostbuster in my notes. Omniscient Ghostbuster is perfect.
Yeah, the Ghostbuster part definitely comes in where like he has this piece of equipment that you think is like supposed to be a stud finder or whatever, but he puts it up to the wall, and he's obviously looking for tears into another universe is what he's looking for.
But you don't know that. You just think he's got something out to grift ruse.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what you
maybe, but in retrospect, it's like, he was like doing weird shit there.
Yeah. Because then Jesse picks it up and starts fiddling with it. And he's like, oh, put that down, kid. It'll blow us halfway to Kingdom Come. And that feels like a real Ghostbuster thing. It's like, don't touch my proton pack.
Yeah, even better line. He goes, well, don't touch that kid. You'll blow us both halfway to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is such a Chicago actor line, you know?
Yeah.
But which I always found so funny because he was in Cheers and Cheers was set in Boston. But Cliff always had the strongest Chicago accent in the world.
Right.
I still to this day, like when I remember that it was set in Boston, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Why does everyone seem like they're from Chicago, or half the cast seems like they're from Chicago?
They're all from Chicago, and like I'm pretty sure George Wendt is from Chicago too.
I believe he is. Yeah. Yep. Because that's what they did the whole Bears thing when he was a guest star on SNL.
Yeah.
One thing this just really hit home with me because I've been reading a bunch of Neil Gaiman lately. I've just been on a Neil Gaiman trip. And so I was like, Cliff Clavin, the mysterious electrician, he feels like someone from like a Neil Gaiman story, like some sort of like weird occult detective story about like some regular Joe hard-boiled type of thing that is fucking battling demons in an alternate universe or something.
Or I'll even go one better. Douglas Adams. He feels like a Douglas Adams character that just appears, does what he's supposed to do with no explanation, and then disappears, and then that's it.
Yeah, like, I mean, you don't get much into his character besides these little hints like, hey, my kid's baseball game or whatever.
Yeah.
It's wild. But so you get because it's 1987, so you do get some nice casual homophobia before you get this whole like moderately racist sacrifice scene that we talked about. And they have this woman tied up, and at first I thought it was Kate, you know, because I was like not really paying attention. I was like, oh, that's why they want to save her. Why is she back or whatever? I completely forgot about this scene, but then you come to realize it's not. It's this, you know, Aztec woman. Anyway. This whole scene is Army of Darkness meets Indiana Jones. It's them fighting, slapstick punches and kicks and fighting, you know, crazy Aztec warriors and Cliff Clavin swings on a fucking rope and it's a whole thing. The woman they save, so they get out, right? It's this whole thing, whatever. This big battle scene. They get out, all of them back. Cliff, Charlie, Jesse, plus the Aztec woman. And then she just lives there now, as does the baby pterodactyl and Gramps and Bippy and the whole crew. And there's this fucking dinner scene where they're like a family now. And Jesse literally says, like, you guys are my family. And
that dinner scene is so crazy. It's got all those characters. And the caterpuppy and the pterodactyl baby have place settings at that table to have dinner. Like, what is happening? What is
They're all
going
sitting
on?
down to a nice
and Jesse,
family
those
dinner.
are your family?
Yeah.
This girl you just met an hour ago and a pterodactyl and a caterpuppy are your family? What are you talking about?
And your
then
zombie
Gramps-
great-great-grandfather and Charlie, who I think you hated.
Grandfather.
Yeah.
and then Gramps gets ready to eat, and then of course his dinner comes right out of the platter, puts on his hat like the most badass dinner you ever seen.
Yeah
There
it's
goes Slim Reeser.
Videodrome. It's like that scene from Videodrome. Not Videodrome. What? Yeah, Videodrome, right? Isn't that the one where Videodrome, where the zombie comes out, instead of coming out of a TV, it's coming out of the plate. And
Yeah.
Not to dwell on this dinner too much, but Charlie, the drunk driving, Uzi wielding comedian entrepreneur, is by far the most normal person at the table. Aside from Jesse.
100%.
Yeah.
So he raises up out of the table, out of the dish, Gramps' plate, and of course it's Slim. And again, he's got that Dr. Claw, super demon-y voice. I want to say, because this is not as wild as just the girls and Bill Maher just piecing out of the film, but it's pretty wacky. Slim, who was teased to us as the big bad early in the movie, has now made his first real appearance in the story's progression, and there are like 13 minutes left in the movie.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Even better is, I love when he's coming up because they go to reaction shots for everybody. And they include a reaction shot of the pterodactyl baby. Like it does a full mouth open, like scared.
Yeah, it's a Muppet. It's Muppet Show, man. It's the Muppet Show. It's great. I love the puppets. I fucking love the puppets. So he shoots Gramps. Slim shoots Gramps, catches a knife that I think Charlie throws at him, and snags up the girl all in like 5 seconds and fucking beats it. And Grandpa then tells Jesse that his parents were killed by Slim the night that they apparently gave him up for adoption ? Why? We don't know. Who cares? But Jesse goes to confront Slim in the Old West dimension that is just in like another door in the house, or it's actually through a window, which he has to throw himself through. He can't open it and go through. He has to throw himself through the glass, like window panes, like it's like a saloon.
You just use something in the room to break the window and then climb through. No, you have to jump through the window. Yes,
pratfall through the window. Yeah. And then this scene just kind of falls apart a little bit, but he goes to confront Slim in the Old West dimension. He gets there, he's looking around for Slim. It's kind of dragging out a little bit, but then Charlie and the Aztec girl, which again, we don't even know her name. She's only been here for 5 minutes. They are there and they're like ready to be hung at the gallows. And then Slim shows, so they're like in peril. Slim shows up. Slim's got a fucking sick ass horse. It's this like stop motion, fucking zombie horse, skeleton horse, which is pretty sweet.
It is so cool. It looks like something from, speaking of Army of Darkness, it looks like something from Army of Darkness.
Yeah, it reminded me of that scene in Evil Dead 2 with the girlfriend doing the dance and taking her head off and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
really cool.
Yeah, it's so well done, and it's like one of those things that could only be done in stop motion because like they show you like through the skin, and then you can see like the skeletal structure of it. It's like it's crazy disgusting. It's the most serious part of this entire movie because like that horse is terrifying otherwise in another film.
Otherwise Slim's just like, I don't know, looks like Wendy like Dave Thomas's daughter Wendy, but with a skull face.
Yeah, he's undead Yosemite Sam. Like he's not scary.
For real.
Yeah, Yosemite Sam. That's more accurate than Wendy. But yeah, I just thought like who's a redhead? First was again in my mind. But yeah, so the fucking horse is really great. So this movie keeps doing these things where you're like, okay, like things are starting to unravel here a little bit, and they're like, oh man, that fucking horse is sick. You know, they have this kind of drawn out like final showdown, and ultimately I'll jump ahead a little bit, but Jesse blasts Slim's head right off, just explodes his head, and it's like it's kind of, I don't want to say unceremonious, but it just kind of is like, hey, shoot, patow, head explodes. And then you get this like surprisingly heartfelt goodbye between Gramps and Jesse about like, I love you and all this stuff. It's just like, it's really, I don't say out of place, just unexpected, I'll say. And then just to like, in case you were like, well, all the craziness is behind us. Not so. Slim's body reanimates. And at this point, somebody has called the cops in the neighborhood because they're hearing gunfire right in the house. The cops have now surrounded the home. They're like, hey, come out with your hands up, you know. Slim's body is bopping around inside the house, and they see it in the window. So they start blasting Slim's body. Chaos inside the house. I forget exactly how it happens, but the house goes completely ablaze, right? So the house is now on fire. Jesse escapes with Bippy, with the baby pterodactyl to another portal within the house. And
Gramps' corpse.
And Gramps'
you can't
corpse.
Forget the corpse.
Yeah, you got to remember Gramps' corpse. Yeah. Into the other dimension through the house. And this is back to Gramps' time, I assume. Like where Gramps previously was, perhaps. I don't know. But it's like the Old West. And Charlie's already there, already in full outfit. Aztec girl's there. She's fucking living life. She loves it. She loves what's happening. She's not confused at all. And now they're all just going to live happily ever after. Gramps, Jesse, Charlie, Aztec girl, pterodactyl, baby pterodactyl, Bippy the caterpuppy. They're all just in the Wild West happily ever after now.
Yeah.
That
fucking
is
insane.
The end.
I just had a thought as you were talking. I just had a thought. What if it's a suggestion of like a Robert Heinlein all you zombies kind of idea where he wasn't named after Gramps, he is Gramps.
Yeah. I could see that.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm inventing that, but like went back in time. He's Jesse. Gramps is Jesse.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I like that.
With this movie, there's so little explanation in anything that it just could be. Like you can just say that. It doesn't matter.
Can make up whatever.
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna add another layer to this insane lasagna. I'm gonna add another layer wherein this movie takes place in the same cinematic universe as the Tom Arnold vehicle, The Stupids, wherein he sings the song "I Am My Own Grandpa," and it explains how Jesse is Jesse. He's his own grandpa.
Yeah, that totally makes sense too.
There you go. That's it.
I just want to point out like how this movie accomplishes so many things before other movies. So you have this Back to the Future 3 ass ending.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
True.
Yeah,
I had that note myself.
Yeah.
But it's like if everything went to shit in Back to the Future 3, like
right, yeah.
Marty McFly is stuck there with some girl he just met and kidnapped. You know?
Right. And he's cool with it. And everyone is so coked out they don't care.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie is in a bad way at this point. He's got to figure out all kinds of manner of like how to secure coke in the Old West. Like, oof.
I give it 3 weeks and Charlie runs an opium den.
Yeah, you're right.
He's going to downers. He's going from uppers to downers.
Well, he's an entrepreneur.
He is. He's gonna find it. He's gonna find it.
He'll probably wind up having like his own traveling medicine cart, but also he samples off as it a lot.
Yeah. Or in an alternate universe, this cinematic universe that we're building out, Charlie invents the original recipe for Coca-Cola.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
They would know how to do it. How to do it.
Guys, that is 1987's House 2: the second story. A lot of fun. A movie that I don't suggest to people often enough. But in terms of pure bonkersness, I would put this up. It's weird because it's oddly well done. Like,
right.
Most of the time, like when I think of other movies that are just bonkers, batshit, that I would like, hey, tell me a batshit movie to watch. And I'm like, go watch Demon Wind or something like that. Like, I fucking love Demon Wind, but Demon Wind is like incompetent in its filmmaking prowess, right? This movie's not. This movie is very competent.
Right.
It just chose to be, this drug fueled, insanity. Which puts it in a bit of a league of its own. I'm trying to think of other movies that aren't foreign films that have like this level of, talent production value. I'm not saying it's all-star situation here, but I'm just saying like the amount of at least effects and performances and stuff they didn't have to do in this movie. There's probably some more, but yeah.
Why not cue the winged serpent? Because I mean, Cohen made that on a really short, both short budget and short time frame. Didn't he? Like, he turned that movie around in a fucking month or some shit like that. So
yeah, something crazy like that. Yeah, I mean, but like
still more cohesive as a story.
Well, yeah. I'm saying it's a better example than House 2. House 2 is the gifted kid who procrastinated their paper until the night before.
That's a good analogy. Yeah. He's very smart, but he's just like could not put down Call of Duty. Right. And was just like, damn it, I have 3 hours now and I gotta crank this out. And so it is what it is.
Yeah, it still comes out with like good high points and makes good points, but the coherence is fucking not there.
Didn't have time to work the kinks out. Didn't have time to iron them out. And it's all the better for it. It's all the better for it.
Yeah. This is such an ultimate stoner movie because the answer to every question like you could have, like if you're high and you're watching this movie and then just like, why does Charlie have that Uzi? It was in his trunk. That's why. That's the answer. It was in his trunk. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, why does he have that sword? Oh, because he's an adventurer. Oh, okay. Yeah. Just cause
this movie, it shouldn't be House 2: the second story. It should be House 2: don't ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Just go with the flow. But yeah, this movie's a lot of fun. This is one of the few movies too, I'll say, that I wouldn't necessarily suggest it as a double feeture with the first movie. Like it has very different sensibilities. I like how the original House from 85, but like it just doesn't feel like it has a lot in common with it, despite if you read vibes. It's very different vibe, even though it has Norm and even though it has all that stuff. But
right, if you want a double feature, I actually always thought that it was a really good double feature with Night of the Creeps. Night of the Creeps is definitely more cohesive, but it still is kind of also a kitchen sink movie. Like, you got the aliens and the slugs and the zombies, and this too is definitely a kitchen sink movie that's thrown in everything they could think of.
I could see this running before you watch Gremlins 2, the new batch.
Sure.
Because they both feel like middle fingers for different reasons.
Yeah.
Like, that movie is Joe Dante doing double middle fingers to the studio. And this movie is the whole cast doing middle fingers, but in a way of like, we're playing hooky from school.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we're tricking somebody into funding our like 2-week-long bender.
Yeah.
Whereas Joe Dante was like, no, Joe Dante was more malicious in his actions.
Yeah, Joe Dante
they were more irresponsible in their actions.
Yeah, Joe Dante had it out for Warner Brothers. I guess my double feature, if we're all doing double features, mine would be this movie should be the second in a double feature with Beetlejuice.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because it still has, there's a lot of like, you have the yuppies in a new house. You have a lot of stop motion and animation and puppetry. So it's like, they're very similar, and they're both more comedic than they are scary. So
that's true.
Yeah.
I like that. Tangent before we wrap up. Thoughts on some of the stuff we've seen on the new Beetlejuice that's coming out later this year.
I actually haven't been following it much because I just don't want stuff spoiled, so I don't pay attention to shit like that.
I agree. I'm nervous about it. I hope it's good. Like, just for Michael Keaton's sake, I hope it's good.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, especially after watching The Flash, which fucking sucked so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's a great actor who deserves a comeback, and kind of had one, and then it's fizzling out because he's taking these legacy movies.
Well,
so for him, I hope that it's good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's so few projects where they want people like that I feel like people in that, not that, you know, Michael Keaton, I don't think needs money, right? But like, you know, if he wants to continue acting, there's just not a lot of opportunities to slide him in unless it's associated with something he was already in the past. You know, then the exception would be, but I guess that was close to 10 years ago with what's the movie that he did where he's like, I can't want to say Birdman. Was it Birdman?
Yeah, Birdman.
It was, yeah.
Was that what it's called?
Birdman.
Okay. I can't say the name of that movie.
He was also in the other guys. You know, he wasn't the lead, but like he was fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's fantastic. I mean, he's fantastic. Every time I say Birdman, I think Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, and it doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Well, then also he went on to play the Vulture in one of the Spider-Man movies. So he plays Batman, the Vulture,
he
and
might
Birdman.
Be back,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you watch the end of Morbius.
I did.
This is all over my head. I've watched so few like comic book, like the Marvel universe and all that. Like that's such a big blind spot for me.
You're probably better off for it.
Yeah, like I'm a Batman guy. I'll watch all the Batman movies that come out, but like so little of the Marvel universe have I actually seen. So it's just like a complete cultural blind spot for me. People were like, oh yeah, like that thing that happened in Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm like, yeah.
See, those are the ones.
Idea what they're talking about.
Those are the ones I think Brandon.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah, those are the ones Brandon and I would actually suggest
good.
Because they stand alone. Away for the most part, they stand alone from all that other shit, and like they actually build good characters in those films.
Yeah.
Just because like James Gunn gives a shit about
those are the best ones.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, it's a blind spot for me. I never watched them. Like I was always into, like when I was a kid, the books that I read were the fucking, like I had a type. It was Spawn and Venom and shit. It was Cable. Like it was Batman.
So what about Blade? Did you watch the Blade movies with Wesley Snipes? Or are you going to watch the new Blade movie?
Yes and yes. So yes, that is one in there. Like I saw Blade. I saw all the Blade movies. I love a Blade movie. I'll probably watch the new one. So yes, that would be that would be one notable exception. I have seen all those things.
Also, I turned him on to Punisher Warzone because I wouldn't shut up about Punisher Warzone.
That's so fun. It's a fun.
I still
movie.
have to watch Punisher Warzone. I haven't seen it.
It's fun.
Oh, you'll love it. It's
on
so
my
brutal.
list.
It's so brutal, but also it looks the most like a comic book. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's a fun movie. And I've never been like a Punisher. Like I don't. You know, I know generally the story. I've never been a Punisher person. Fuck, that movie's fun.
Yeah.
Fun one.
But after seeing what's his name, Ray Stevenson, in Star Wars, I was like, oh yeah, I got to go back and watch that.
Okay.
Punisher.
Yep.
It's a good one. It's a good one. All right, boys. I think we got it. I think we touched on everything. Once again, go check us out on the social medias. Give us some suggestions for our Stephen King adaptations this week, because we'll be announcing on the next episode what those are. Once again, if you haven't already, listen, I've warned you once. I've warned you 5 times. Quit fucking around, guys. You go over there, check out Brandon's books. Like I said, I would highly suggest if you like any of the weird fucking books and movies and shit that we're referencing on here, go check out Stop Me if you've heard this one before. Such a fun movie, such a fun book. There's some wacky ass stories in that book that are really really fun. If you like weird fiction and all that stuff, which I do, you're gonna appreciate it.
Not quite House 2, but weird.
There's a couple of them that are pretty fucking bonkers in that book. Don't sell yourself short. All right. Okay. Anything else I'm forgetting, Steve? Anything else we need to mention?
I got 2 notes just real quick. One, Royal Dano is in no way related to Paul Dano that I could figure out.
Okay.
And 2, we skimmed over it, but the cops at the shootout scene at the end, there's the sheriff. The sheriff is played by Gregory Walcott, and Gregory Walcott is Jeff Trent in Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Oh boy, howdy.
Oh shit. Mm-hmm.
That's like some local, that's some real LA shit. You know? Getting Plan 9 people in there.
Yeah, and also I believe Walcott is in a movie with Royal Dano called Donner Pass: The Road to Survival.
The cannibals, some cannibal shit.
Yeah,
I like some cannibal shit.
Yeah, early horror movie for the both of them, I think, because it's from 1978. So
78 cannibals back in 78, guys. Go check it out. I might have to peek at that one. I might peek at that one tonight. I might fall asleep 15 minutes into that one tonight. We'll see. All right. I think that's it. Anything else? Anything else we should mention? Anything we should call out?
That's it. I'm good.
That's it for the dang old mini. So once again, Brandon, thank you as always. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Always a lot of fun. Talk films and caterpuppies and all that mess with you. Always love that.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime. I guess with that being said, for the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
I'm Steve.
All right, well, bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Bye-bye.
I'm trying to think of what noise a caterpuppy makes. I couldn't think of it.
It barks.
Oh yeah, it just barks. Yeah. Fuck.
It just barks like a dog.
You know what the dumb thing is? My immediate thought was I was going to go meow. It's like that's the one thing it doesn't do. Come on.
It's a dog.
Dan said it sounds like Eric Roberts. It's like, oh yeah, scratch my belly.
It is a dog.
Now in my mind it's Eric Roberts' voice, and he's like, oh yeah, scratch my belly. Halloween puppy.